Welcome if you're watching in the UK or around the world. The rules around travelling into the UK have been tightened again in a bid to control the spread of the new Omicron variant of COVID. The British government says the move is necessary because of an increase in cases of the strain which are directly linked to foreign travel. Anyone arriving into the UK from Tuesday morning will need proof of a negative COVID test taken within 48 hours prior to departure. They'll also need to take a PCR.
Oh, what's that now? I don't really see anything.
Executive saying the introduction of pre-departure testing with little warning is a hammer blow. Meanwhile, Nigeria is to be added to the UK government's travel red list from tomorrow morning. Anyone arriving into the UK from a red list country will need to pay for and self-isolate in a pre-booked government-approved hotel for 10 days. Our business correspondent Katie Prescott reports.
I don't know if it was like Omicron, Megatron, Cybertron, whatever variant of COVID it was. Like, I was not in a good place, you know what I mean? But like in my room, just like getting high, drawing comics. Got on eBay and got this camera and like sold the lens it came with and bought a bunch of vintage lenses. So, you know, the camera came up to like 200 and like just started like just filming everything because I knew I was gonna need it.
Obviously second and third hand information, so
Yeah, treat it with a grain of salt.
treat it like that, but
now pre-departure testing has arrived as the new variant of the virus spreads.
We've also decided to require pre-departure tests. That's for all inward travellers. That will be effective from 4 a.m.
instrumentals for you to work to, and then look through the old files and see. Kind of forgot how good to talk about it is.
That is really good.
Like how it sounds. Oh right, this is open still, isn't it? We've got these things good to go.
I think 2022 to like 2023 was the most like probably like the most intensive like vocal recording I've ever done, because it was like an entirely new sound from scratch. Like it wasn't the auto-tune like kind of or like spoken kind of delivery of like the home set where, you know, we brought in melodic elements and there was live instrumentation, but it was like all on a backing, and you know it was all sample based on my end, like from the production, and Dave added live instrumentation. But for me to put together like a live show where I felt like, you know, I'm not just hiding behind the mic or like struggling to figure out what to do with my hands, like, you know, I realized that the instrumentation and the vocals would need to go up like another level. Like, you know, there would need to be not just like freestyles or like ambient tracks, but, you know, like songs that, you know, had more of like a pop sensibility and like a pop structure. So, you know, that year, I think some of it was because like every time I was at the studio, I felt like I couldn't go to the studio without drinking. Felt like I couldn't, you know, like I couldn't leave the house. I was one of them people where like I couldn't even go to the shop without smoking. And, you know, it started taking a toll on me. And by the time I got to the end of 2022, I felt so like unwell. Like, you know, like my hair was falling out. You know, I was like struggling to sleep. I was struggling to stay awake. I was like sleeping on a mattress on the floor at my mum's, and like, you know, I would wake up like drenched in sweat and like shivering. And you know, like if I even went like a few days without smoking or like a few days without drinking, it would be like a disaster, you know what I mean? Like I'd be thinking about it the whole time. And like, you know, I think if you're like the kind of person where you can work a job, you've got hobbies, you've got friends and all that, then people tend not to really worry too much about your alcohol consumption or like how much you're smoking, because they're like, oh, it's just smoking, it's just drinking, like you'll be fine. But, you know, I was really not doing so great. And like, you know, I remember I had to go to like Turning Point and stuff like that for it, and it was like, you know, and it felt like a step back, because I was like, I just want to be recording, I just want to be like making music, you know. I can't even play the guitar, and I've got to like figure out how to play the guitar in like less than a year, get fluent with that, you know, like I could barely play bass. So it was just like, I knew there was a lot of work to do, man. And, you know, I was going to have to get healthier so that I could do it. I just test the vocal track as well.
Start to the session.
This is much better than last time, though. We actually have like a sofa.
I guess.
And
yeah, well, you had to have that shit one to get this one for cheaper as well.